Welcome in the latest episode of What I Bet. I'm your host, real underscore G Warner. Tonight's episode, we're going through the World Cup and the Major League Baseball cards on Monday, June 29th. We were winners on our last episode with What I Bet Best Bet on the Tigers on June 26th. On Friday, a nice 8-0 shutout win. And we're 3-2 last five. Tonight's episode, like I said, we'll go through Major League Baseball and the Monday World Cup card. Save you some money at pregame.com with a promo code. And of course, the What I Bet Best Bet coming end of show. We'll start in, I guess, on the soccer pitch with Japan and Brazil. Currently, Japan a three-quarter goal underdog to Brazil. Total is 2.5. Juice very heavily to under. More juice right now on the Brazilian side. I'm waiting for Brazil to move to a one-goal favorite. I think it might happen, especially because no one really respects the Japanese Football Association or their ability or to me, what should be respected is their work ethic. Brazil has not been the dominant team of the past. Yes, they had a good group stage, a draw against Morocco, and two victories against Haiti and also against Scotland. But Scotland basically gave them goals. I do think Japan can score on this Brazilian side, so it makes me a little bit less interested in under 2.5. More interested when we get a +1, which is actually out there in the marketplace right now on Japan. And I would imagine Brazilian money comes in until kickoff. Well, next move, that was a 1 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Central Time start. Well, next move to Paraguay and Germany. Currently, Paraguay, a 1.5 goal underdog, totals 2 3/4 in this one, juiced very heavily to over. Probably see some threes out there as well. Paraguay are really, it's amazing. They made it through the group stage, somehow finishing ahead of Turkey, which is insane to me, but they did. And the difference here, or really it's going to be the same strategy, is they're going to defend as much as they can, as long as they can. It didn't work against the United States. It worked really well against Turkey, scoring a goal early and then surviving a red card for what felt like 90 minutes almost. And then a really boring game against Australia where they were favored, but really did nothing offensively for the entire time. Differences here is that Germany's going to dominate this game. They're going to have the ball the whole time. Can Paraguay be as attacking as they can be with 35% of the ball, or maybe even less than that? That's a big question. I think for that reason, I'm more interested in under three that's out there as opposed to the +1.5. I think I need more on Paraguay. Last game, and probably the most interesting of the day, is Morocco and the Netherlands. Currently, Morocco, a quarter goal or half a goal underdog, depending on where you look. Total is 2.25 right now, which feels very, very low. Open 2.5. So we've seen some movement down on that one. The Netherlands have really struggled to win games as favorites. They were great in the group stage, about as good as you could do, besides allowing a late concession or conceding late, and Japan equalizing for a draw in the opener. But Dutch were really good against Sweden, dominated that game after Sweden looked great in their opener, but who didn't look good against Tunisia? And then, of course, the Dutch were able to smack Tunisia around. But Morocco are a different team. They're really great defensively. They showed us a lot getting to the semifinals of the World Cup in Qatar. We're great in AFCON, though they hosted it, so it's a little bit less impressive there. But still, I really what I've seen from them. They were a great underdog against Brazil, took a lead, led in a bunch of matches, including against Sweden as well. So Morocco looks very interesting. Half of a goal is a lot more valuable when they draw and send to extra time or win straight up. Or I guess that's better than winning straight up because as a quarter goal underdog, you certainly like that payment better. But for me, I think at this point, I'm looking to see Morocco play a really tight game. We'll see if the Dutch can do it. I lean to Morocco half goal underdog and to under 2.25 in that matchup. Now I'll move to the Major League Baseball side of things. We got a pretty big card as everyone's preparing for July 4th and also some off days on shared stadium parking lots like we see in Arlington, Texas. We'll start with the Chicago White Sox and Sean Burke on the road, the Baltimore Orioles and Shane Baz. Baz minus 128 favorite. Total is 9 in this one. Juice more to the over. The White Sox have been great so far this season. I don't know if I can believe it. It's really hard to explain it. But at this point, I think I'm looking to fade Baltimore, which seems like they're stuck in second gear with a lot of young players that haven't really improved. Next, we'll go to the Pittsburgh Pirates and Braxton Ashcraft on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies. Currently, Ashcraft is a -102 underdog, which is honestly, pretty, hmm, uh, fairly respectful, I guess is the best way to put it. The Phillies have been really good ever since Don Mattingly took over, but they fire a manager every season, it seems. I just don't know that I really believe that Aaron Nola is at any sort of level where you can back him as a favorite. He's certainly very cheap right now. It's really hard to fade Philadelphia, especially the weak Pittsburgh bullpen. Braxton Ackcraft is awesome. I just don't know that I want to trust Aaron Nola either for under 8.5 right now. We'll move next to the Detroit Tigers. Casey Mize on the road at New York Yankees and Ryan Weathers. Weathers minus 138 favorite. Total is 8. Choose very heavily minus 120 to under. Um, Mize has been great, but staying healthy has been an issue for him this season. He's been on the IL twice already. I don't know if I can trust that to continue, I gotta say. Weathers definitely leaves some to be desired. The Yankees certainly aren't hitting the same way they were with Aaron Judge, but that bullpen is awesome. I think this is going to be a rough series for Detroit. It might mean we see Tarik Skubal get traded if his groin is okay. Next, we go to the New York Mets and Sean Manaea on the road at the front of Blue Jays and Trey Savage. Savage minus 122 favorite, plus 111 coming back on the Mets. Totals 8.5, juice minus 115 to under. Savage has been okay since coming back from a dominant playoff performance as a rookie last season out of nowhere. The Mets are playing a little bit better. Lindor coming back has been huge. Manaea, honestly, if he finds his arm slot and can look like he did a couple seasons ago when he basically just modeled his entire motion off of Chris Sale, we'll see if that happens. A little bit out of whack though, and then all of a sudden 90-mile-an-hour fastballs get punished, and that's a scary thing to bet. The Texas Rangers are pretty hot, starting Tyler Alexander on the road at the Cleveland Guardians. Parker Messick. Messick minus 140 favorite, totals 8, juice very heavily to under. Incredible comeback win for the Guardians on Sunday. They've got a lot of young players out there, and tons are making mistakes, including a 2-out ground ball to second base that was thrown away, which was like the fifth error, and I'm not even sure they got credited for all those, in my humble opinion. But from a Rangers perspective, they've been playing really well. Plus 127 is a big number for what they've been doing as of late. Good series in Toronto this weekend. Big question is Parker Messick. Can he dominate? He certainly can, but that price seems expensive. Next, we go to the Washington Nationals. Miles Michaelis on the road of the Boston Red Sox and Rangers Suarez. Currently, Michaelis 154 underdog. Totals 8.5, minus 115 over. I'll lean to seeing some runs in this game, to say the least. Miles Michaelis is maybe the worst starting pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. The Nats can certainly not pitch. They can definitely hit. The big question is how many can they get off of Ranger Suarez? I think I don't have a lot that I want to do here, maybe over 8.5. Next, we go to the Cincinnati Reds and Nick Lodolo on the road at Robert Gosser. The Milwaukee Brewers. Gosser minus 148 favorite, plus 134 coming back on the Reds. Totals 8.5, just minus 125 to over. So we've been seeing some more money moving to over in that one. I think that's really probably a bet against Nick Lodolo, and I'm not ready to back him, even though that price looks nice. Next, we go to the San Diego Padres and Griffin Canning on the road at the Chicago Cubs and Shota Imanaga. Griffin Canning was announced pretty late, but the price has moved 1 cent since he got announced. As the Padres line was out there, no starting pitcher. Plus 135 is the current number. 136 is what I saw earlier. Total is 12, juice minus 122 to under. That tells you the wind is blowing out, and Shota Imanaga is a fly ball pitcher. Next, we'll move to Milwaukee. We just did Milwaukee, excuse me. Minnesota Twins, Zebby Matthews on the road at Houston Astros and Peter Lambert. Lambert minus 132 favorite. Total is 9, juice minus 115 to under. If I could trust the Twins bullpen, I'd looked at backing them here, but the Astros have been playing a lot better baseball, a lot because of their own bullpen coming around. Well, then go to Milwaukee. Wow, the Miami Marlins. I think they're the best team in baseball in June. It's still June from this podcast episode. We're going through the 29th here. So good luck on fading Sandy Alcantara, especially the Colorado Rockies. They're plus 121 underdog at home. Total in this one is 11, juice minus 125 to over. So they're expecting runs. I'm very scared about Sandy Alcantara, though, potentially blowing up any sort of over with a great outing. San Francisco Giants then start Tyler Mahle on the road. The Arizona Diamondbacks minus 130 are the price on Eduardo Rodriguez. Especially looks a little high off the D-backs getting swept on the road in Tampa, but they didn't win a game in Florida this entire season after getting swept in Miami as well. Totals 8.5. This one juice minus 122 to over. I feel like the D-backs are pretty cheap right now, so I like that minus 130. I want to fade Tyler Mahle. I want to fade the Giants as well. 2 games left to go. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and Johnson will be starting on the road at Seattle Mariners and George Kirby, and they're certainly smarting off an incredible collapse today late in that game. Seemed like they used their best bullpen early, and they could have done a little bit more intelligent things, especially when the Guardians trying to give it to him. But Kirby, a giant favorite, total 7.5. This one juice minus 125 to over. 210 is the price, $2.10 to win one on George Kirby. He has not been that good, but I don't know who's backing the Angels. And last but not least, the Los Angeles Dodgers coming off a tough series in San Diego. They're on the road at the Athletics. It looks like Lauer and Jump. Currently, Lauer minus 115 favorite, plus 104 coming back on the the Athletics, and Jump has been getting a lot of respect from the marketplace. Total's 10.5. This one minus 110 both ways. I'm not really necessarily a believer, but that park is certainly in the hot summer in Sacramento. We'll see some runs, and it's hard to say that you're going to look to see any sort of under. So lean over 10.5 in that matchup, maybe a little bit to the A's as a home underdog. So that brings us to the end of the podcast. I want to save you some money at pregame.com. Make sure you follow us pregame now on Twitter. At the real underscore G Warner is my handle. Of course, everywhere you get your podcast, Straight Outta Vegas AM is where you can find the feed. Want to save you some money though, like I said, at pregame.com. Use the promo code HIT15. H is hotel, I is in India, T is in Tango, 15 or $15 off anything on this pregame.com website. Get through the 6th of July, so you're running out of time. Go save $15. Hit 15. Now for the best bet in this episode, like I said, we were let's see, we are 1, 2, we're 3-2 last 5. And we were winners in our last episode of the Detroit Tigers on Friday night, the 26th of June. Well, let's go to the desert. Let's go to the Arizona Diamondbacks, bouncing back from a road sweep, the wrong direction in Tampa. They'll win this game, I think, minus 130, Arizona minus 130 at home against the at home against the San Francisco Giants. 3, 2, 1. Hey, this is real underscore